everyone. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And today we're going to take a break actually from GI and talk about some of the big things that may be going on in health today, which is the flu. And there's a big problem now with the flu and the toll it's had both on people and in the hospital as well. And I can see it also in my practice, just in GI, we have a lot of people who have the flu. And when I round on my patients in the hospital, there are a lot of my patients who are affected with the flu as well. And so I want to talk about today about what you need to know about the flu and what you can do about the flu and some of the tips that I would recommend to help if you have the flu, and also things that you can do if you're around people who may have the flu as well. And I'm hoping these simple things would allow you to protect yourself from this particular virus. So we're going to look at what's called a misery map. I think this is a great term because the flu is very miserable to have. And there's actually updated material from actually 2 days ago from the CDC. As you can see, the flu is widespread pretty much everywhere across the United States. In Texas, pretty much, excuse me. Basically, it's pretty much pandemic all across the United States. A lot of people have the flu, or a lot of people know somebody who has the flu as well. And so there really is no getting around it. But if you, the best thing obviously to help prevent the spread of the flu is to treat it appropriately, and also to make sure that you do the things that you can do to stay healthy. So the question I have from a lot of people is, how is the flu spread? Because this explains why the flu is so widespread currently in the United States. And so the flu is a virus which is dispersed through air droplets, typically around somebody who has the flu. And if they're within 3 to 6 feet, whether you breathe their air or they sneeze as well, and those air droplets go into where you are, you can be affected by the flu. And this is why it's so contagious, because people may have the flu virus and actually be contagious and may not realize it until it's too late, which is why some people may be getting symptoms even though they may not be around directly people who they think they may actually have the flu. But once you have the flu virus, it actually attaches to the mucosal membranes, specifically within in the nose, excuse me, and it goes out into the lungs as well, where it causes its damage. Now, in the lungs, it actually invades and replicates viruses or cells that are around the lungs or around the mucous membranes to proliferate, and to cause more and more viruses to form, to cause worsening disease, worsening symptoms, and causing just making you feel a lot more worse. Now, that invasion allows the body to know that, hey, something is going on here and we need to do something about it. And this is your body's response to that. It actually senses that something is going wrong. And so what it does, in essence, it sends soldiers to the area where the flu is, which is typically the lungs. And this is the physical symptoms you feel from the flu. So when you feel the fevers, the chills, the body aches, this is your body's war against the flu. And that's actually your body trying to attack the flu virus to get rid of the flu, and also using its immunity to help get rid of the damage that's occurring from the flu virus. So one of the best things that you can do to help attack the virus or get rid of it is to hydrate yourself. Hydration, hydration, hydration is critical. I would recommend drinking at least 1 cup of water per hour while you're sick, and trying to avoid things like coffee, caffeine, and alcohol, which are known to dehydrate people. What the water actually does, it actually helps to diminish the headaches, and actually helps to bolster the immune system. And so what water actually does physically, it actually allows those soldiers to go and travel into the area where the virus is at. And also too, whenever you're sick, you actually become very dehydrated because of the amount of reaction that's occurring within your body against the flu. And so hydration will bring your soldiers to the area where the flu virus is to attack it. So the more that you drink, the more you can bring those soldiers to the virus to attack the flu to get rid of it. The second thing you can do is move if you can. It's maybe hard because I know when you're sick you want to lay down and don't want to do anything. You just want to lay down flat and just sleep all day, which I completely understand. But it's important to try and be upright and move if you can. What happens when you have the flu virus attacking your lungs is that this causes inflammation in the lining of the lungs. And that inflammation will actually cause the sensation of needing to cough and to expel that substance. And that coughing and that expelling of that mucus is actually your body's way of getting rid of the damaged lining within the lungs. Now, if you lie down, that lining will cause it to just form in the lungs. If you don't cough it out, that lining will turn into infection, which can eventually turn into pneumonia. And lying down also will keep the lungs from opening up. It actually will collapse the lungs as well. So that plus a combination of the inflammation that you don't expel can cause a really bad pneumonia. A lot of people are actually passing away from developing really bad pneumonia from the flu virus. So as much as you can, if you can move about and try to keep upright, that's going to help out in your body's attack against the flu as well. And then Tamiflu. Tamiflu is a medication that we have to help to try to attack the virus. The data is not very clear if it helps or not, and so this may or may not help. We're not quite sure if it actually works or not, but we do know that if it's taken within 48 hours, it can reduce the duration of the flu symptoms by at least 2/3. So it does help out in terms of decreasing the flu symptoms, but whether it actually helps out in general, we really have no idea. And then lastly, getting the flu shot. Now, I know people may be wondering, it seems like the flu shot is not working. And, unfortunately, the flu shot currently is only 10% effective this year. But what we do know is that for those people who've had the flu shot, the severity of the symptoms may actually be reduced. And so I would always encourage you to get the flu shot. And what we do know that getting that shot has the tendency to decrease the severity if you do get the flu itself. And lastly, if you are around people who don't have the flu, but you do, or you know somebody who has the flu and you're worried about yourself, make sure you wash your hands. It's very important that you wash your hands and try to make sure that your hands are always clean. And it's also important to stay away from people who have the flu at least 48 hours until after the fevers have subsided. That's the time when you're least contagious with respect to the flu. So in summary, make sure that you hydrate yourself. Hydration is critical. Make sure that you try not to lie down all the time and try to get up, sit upright if you can, and cough up the mucus that's there. Certainly taking cough suppressants may help out with the symptoms of coughing, but the coughing act is your body's reaction to getting rid of that bad lining in the lungs to help prevent a pneumonia from occurring. If you're able to get Tamiflu, that may certainly help out. It certainly can help out at least in the first 48 hours. And also, too, make sure every year you get the flu shot. We do know that tends to decrease the severity of the symptoms as well. And if you're around anybody who has the flu, make sure you wash your hands and stay away from them for at least 48 hours until their fever has subsided.